Nice. That's on. Oh, I should find that video. That's a funny one. In case you're wondering why I do this before each video, it's because in my old group, one day I started, what do you call it? Daily Fuel. I used to do Daily Fuel in my old group. And I did not used to do this back then. And I started my thing and I started talking and I'm going and going and going. And there was no sound, nothing, silence for about 4 minutes. 4 minutes of silence. And then all of a sudden I look down and I can tell something's wrong. I'm not sure what. And then it dawns on me that I did not turn the microphone on. So that's why I do this now. I've got my little audio monitor down here and I can see that it's on. So there you go. Anyway, Jesse says, hey, Bobby. Hey, Jesse, how are you? Nice to see you. If you are, welcome to Daily Fuel. Welcome to the replay. And if you're watching in the replay, do me a favor and let me know that you're here in the replay. You could put a hashtag like hashtag the replay works for me. I'm gonna start making up hashtags every day on my own. I'm gonna challenge myself to come up with hashtags. We'll see how long that lasts. And if you are not in the replay, if you're joining me live, then please comment. You can comment the whole time that I'm talking. I'm going to go through my spiel. I'm going to ignore all the comments. And then when I'm done with my spiel, I'm going to come back. I'm going to read all the comments that you guys have written. And then we'll have a nice discussion. We'll talk about things. And you can ask questions. You can say things. You can tell me your opinion. You can agree with me. Or you can disagree with me. That is also okay. Disagreement is fine. But I'll call you out on it and I'll tell you why I think you're wrong. And sometimes you guys write comments about something that I'm saying, and by the time I read your comment, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. So deal with that. So Marcia is also here. Hey, Marcia, nice to see you. Haven't seen you on Daily Fuel in a little while. Hello, nice to see you. So, all right. So since Marcia and well, this is hard to say. Marcia and Jesse. I had my tongue tied on that one. Since you guys are here, let's start. The hell with everybody else. Let's go. This won't work for me. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And anyway, that's the title of this one. And that's a thing that I think that a lot of us say in our own heads about whatever it is that we're trying to do. This won't work for me. And maybe not those exact words, and maybe you're not even conscious of the fact that you're doing it. But the other day I posted in the group, I said, I did a post, I said, what is the biggest lie that your ego is telling you that you fall for all the time? And I've been trying to figure out what mine is. I have some enlightenment on that. So a lot of you have shared with me in that post what your biggest lies are from your ego, and I've been going through them. I've been coming up with ideas for Daily Fuels on a lot of them. Some of them are going to get their own. Some of them are a lot of the same. So I'm going to just tag you all on one, but we're going to hit them all. And what do you call it? Today, though, I want to start with mine because I think that a lot of you probably share mine. I don't think mine is unique or weird or different. And I've had a progression with mine. I've actually been working on mine for a long time. And my ego is pretty clever and replaces it with something a little more to the core, to the kernel. So if you can imagine that my ego has started with this big general lie, because that was all it took to get me to believe it. But then when I didn't believe that general lie anymore, it said, yeah, but not really that, it's this. And then when it wasn't that anymore, it's like, well, not really that, it's this. And I feel like I'm down to this. And I want to squash it and kill it and crush it because it's a lie. It is a lie. A lie that your ego tells you is a lie. And in case you've never heard me say this, why does our ego lie to us? Why is our ego this sinister creature, this parasite? No, I don't believe that it is. The ego is that part of you that is trying to keep you alive on planet Earth. It is that physical, it is the part of you that believes that all you are is this physical being. It doesn't know about spirit. It doesn't believe in spirit. It doesn't understand that we're bigger than what we see, feel, and touch here. It thinks this is it. And it also thinks that if you were to croak, die, pass on, go away, that it would just be dead, gone, that it does not exist. There is no afterlife to the ego. So the ego wants to hold on with everything it's got. And so to do that, the reason the ego lies to you isn't because it's trying to trick you and laugh at you when you screw up or fail. It's because the ego is afraid that if you succeed at this thing, you're going to die. So I'm kind of getting to the end here before I want to. So I've got my 3 things, and my 3 things today are the progression of my ego's lies. And in future Daily Fuels, in the very near future, I'm going to go through all the ones you guys said. So don't worry about that. So, but see if these fit for you. So number 1 for me was, I'm not good enough. I know a lot of you shared this one. I'm not good enough. And the way that this one works is usually through comparison. So we live in a world of social media, and we can see other people because they just don't stop getting in my friggin' face. We can see them, and we can see what they're doing, and we can see everything that they got going on. And this one's got this life, and this one's got that life, and this one can do this kind of art, and this one's got this kind of business, and this one has this kind of boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. We compare it to ourselves. And usually what's really unfair about that comparison is we are comparing what little we can see of their life with the entirety of our own life. We know the pitfalls, we know the best things about ourselves, and we know all the crappity crap about ourselves. We know it all the stuff that we don't share with anybody. We know. We can't hide from ourselves. We know how horrible we are. We're not. But we know all the terrible things that we're ashamed of or afraid of and all this stuff. But when we look at them, we don't see any of that. All we see is, wow, that person just keeps kicking ass, it seems. So this I'm not good enough lie, your ego is telling you, don't go out there and don't put yourself out there. Don't try this thing. Stick to the straight and narrow path. Stick to the path that's well lit up. Don't go down that dark path. You're not a light. You're not the light. You have to stick to the lit up path, is what your ego is trying to tell you, because to the ego it feels safer. It feels like a surer bet. The problem is there's no fulfillment in that. But your ego isn't interested in fulfillment. Your ego is interested in survival. That's why the ego lies to you. It doesn't want you to get eaten by a tiger. Don't get eaten by a tiger. I don't recommend it. But this lie that I am not good enough is pervasive in many people, and particularly in artists, because we can see everybody else's shit. Where our thing is a visual thing, and if you're not a visual artist, you know that you can hear other people's music. You can read what they're writing. You know, it's like there is a tangibleness to art that we can all take in other people's art and see that theirs is better than mine. Oh my God, I just suck. So it's a lie, because everybody has a unique gift, and everybody's gift gets better and better with usage. So this is my first lie. By the way, I'm only going over what my lies are and the progression of them. I've done other lives, and I will do other lives on how to deal with the I'm not good enough lie. In fact, I probably will again soon. But that was my first one. So I got over that by realizing that I'm fucking awesome. I am. There's nothing I can do about it. I just am. I got over it by starting to actually believe that, to actually believe that I'm awesome. I also believe you're awesome, by the way. I don't believe I'm awesomer. I believe that I am awesome, and I believe that you are awesome. And you have to practice believing that. You don't just say it one day and you're like, you know what, I'm awesome, I'm just going to believe it. Because you're going to wake up the next day and not believe it again. You have to continually remind yourself until that's just your default. Nathan said yesterday about, is this hacking the program? The program might be, I am not good enough. You need to hack that program and keep telling yourself, not only are you good enough, you're fucking great. You're great. They're great. I'm not doing that again. So right. But I am awesome, and so are you, and we just have to learn how to believe that. So I'm going to leave that one with start practicing that, whether it's meditations or affirmations or whatever. But if you are struggling with this I am not good enough lie, we're going to go over it again. I'll have 3 things just for that one. But today, that was my step 1. That was a while back. I haven't struggled with I am not good enough in quite some time. So my ego got clever and said, oh, well, you're good enough, huh? You're fucking awesome? Cool. That's great. Your stuff is awesome, but they'll like it if it's free. Then no one's going to pay for your stuff. That one knocked me on my ass because now I was just like, wow, you're right. And I believed that for a long time. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I've told you before, when I started my business, I took a sales training class. And one of the things that they taught, the principles that they taught, was that you're going to attract people who buy things the way you buy things. So this is specific to entrepreneurialism, but it's really not, because it's law of attraction. You are going to attract people who act like you do. You're going to attract people who believe things you believe. You're going to attract people into your life who are in vibe with you, who are in alignment with you, your beliefs, your way of doing things, your worldview, that kind of thing. So specifically for me, with my ego telling me that, okay, fine, you're awesome, but no one's going to pay for that. For me, it was that you're going to attract people who buy things the way you buy things. And the biggest problem that I had was I would never buy anything that I sell. I don't buy things like the things I sell. And I had a problem with that because, if I were selling websites or services like that, I am of this do-it-yourself mindset. I'm a tinkerer. I'm a doer. I like to get my hands dirty and figure out how to do it. If I can do that, I'll think of it as something fun to do rather than, like, for me, it's not like, oh, I wouldn't spend money on that because I could just spend 10 years figuring it out and save the $100. Like, it's not a cheap thing for me. It's a challenge. It's like a personal, ooh, this is a chance for me to get my tinkerer, my engineer vibe going. And like, I wouldn't pay somebody to do this when I could just like take on the challenge of figuring it out for myself and getting the thrill and the fulfillment of doing the thing. That's a big pill to swallow when somebody then goes and tells you, if you wouldn't buy your thing, why would anybody else buy your thing? And I went, fuck, why would anybody else buy my thing? And then with my art, it's like, why would I buy art? I make art. I don't buy the things that I sell. The other one was I can't even afford the things that I sell. There were times where I was selling a website for thousands of dollars, but I didn't even have thousands of dollars handy to like buy something like that. I was like, well, I got to pay this and I got to pay that and I got to pay this. And it's like, if this person, me, were in front of me right now trying to sell this thing to me, I would have to say I can't afford it. And so then I would attract people who couldn't afford it. I would attract people who don't buy things like that because I just had this mindset. That was a tough one, and I feel like I've been cracking that one. I've cracked it enough that I'm just like, look, it's not, maybe you wouldn't buy the thing you're selling, but you're going to attract people who are into the thing you're selling because you're into it. Maybe it's not about I sell water because I drink water and that I'm okay with. It's like, no, you don't have to sell a commodity that everyone on earth needs in order for your business to be successful. You can sell things that you yourself wouldn't buy because you yourself like making them. The reason they'll buy it from you is because you're good at making it and they just want it and they don't want to do it themselves. So I had to get over that. I had to figure that one out for myself. And when I did, that was like the I'm not good enough was the big one, right? And then my ego went down to this one. It's like, well, people won't pay for that. And that one, it was like, all right, I can deal with this one, but it's still not the core issue in my life. And now I'm up to number 3. And number 3 is the fucking piece of shit thing that I just want to crush because it's the thing that that I think has been at the heart of these. The other two were lies on top of the lies. They weren't even the lie. My ego was lying to me about what the lie was because it didn't even need to kick me in the nuts with the real one. And the real one is this. If this works for me, if I am successful at this, I am going to die. It will kill me. I will get cancer. That was the lie. And the reason that was the lie was because I watched it happen to my mom. I watched it happen. That was my life, was that we were a middle-class family our entire lives. My parents, my dad was a cop and my mom worked at a doctor's office, and we did our middle-class America suburb thing. We literally, have you ever heard of Levittown with the Levitt houses for the people? We literally lived in Levittown, the town over, but it was the same houses. It was Hicksville. But everybody knows Levittown. That was us. We lived in that town. And at some point, by the time I was into college, my parents did well than they had before and got this money. And they were making better money. And it was like, wow, all of a sudden it was like they could redo the house and we got new cars and we weren't living the middle class way anymore. It was like it was a step up, it felt like. And the very next day, it felt like, my mother got cancer. And that was the end of all of that. They just went, they said, sell the cars, fix this, do that. Forget about all that shit we were going to do. We're not buying that business. We're not doing this thing. None of that. It all went out the window. And at some point, I just internalized that if you become successful, you will get cancer. That was it. But I didn't talk about that. I didn't, this was the thing that was in my basement that I never dug up and shined a light on. The other things I did, and which was why when I would talk about like worthiness and stuff and be like, well, man, I have this worthiness problem. But then I would say like, no, but I am fucking good at this. I am awesome at this. People line up to see me do my fucking thing. I'm on my stage and I'm a fucking rock star here. That's not the problem. The problem is, if I get too big at this, I'm just going to die. So, what do I do about that? I don't let that happen. I'll start this business up and then I'll be like, oh, this is getting too good. Let me not do this anymore. I'll have Daily Fuel going for a whole year, 6 days a week, every day except Sunday, and I'll build this thing up to this fucking thing. And then I'll be like, wow, this is going to take off. I better stop that. By the way, thank you for indulging me and letting me do this because I love you guys. You guys really help me as much as I hope that I help you. So that's the lie that my ego tells me. And here's the, I'm going to talk a lot more about how to overcome these lies. I feel this one's getting long, but that's where I'm at. And I honestly believe that knowing what your lie is and taking it out and putting it into the light, that's like 90% of the problem. Do you know who Kyle Cease is? I love this thing that he said. He said, when you go, he's a spiritual Tony Robbins-ish type guy. He's very funny too. Kyle Cease. Look him up if you don't know who he is. He's great. And he said this thing, he's like, you don't have to go to therapy about it now for 10 years. You don't have to talk about it incessantly. Abraham says this all the time, like you don't have to keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. Once you know that there's a thing, you can just be like, okay, I'm not going to let that be a thing anymore and not pay attention to it, not let it affect you because now you're conscious of it. And Kyle said this line, it was great. He's like, you don't go to the dentist to get your tooth pulled and then when the dentist takes your tooth out, you don't look at it and go like, what does this mean? It's like, no, it's a fucking tooth. It's out now. I got it. It's in the light. Just throw it in the garbage. It's not going to bother me anymore. So, does that mean this will never affect me again? No, I don't think that I've shined the light on it completely, but it's not hidden anymore. It's not hidden anymore. I can't think of a better word than that. The light is on it, and I'm going to burn it with the light until it's dead. And that's that. So let's do it together, shall we? Thanks for listening to all of that. I'm going to go to the comments now and see what you people have to say. Jesse says, hey, Bobby. Hey, how you doing? Marcia, I said hi. And Kirsten showed up after I started. Hi, Bobby and everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. The proper way to say hello to me. Robin says, hi, Robin. Hello, dear Masterful Bobby. And also, hello, Jesse and Marcia. And everybody got flowers today, so thank you for that, Robin. Hey, Bobby, and yo to all. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Nice to see you. Kelly, late to the party, but I'm glad I caught that note about not getting eaten by a tiger. That definitely would not work for me. Yeah, not good. Don't want to be. I like being top of the food chain. I plan on staying there for the duration of my life. So let's just say that. You are a rock star. Thank you. So are you. Thanks. I appreciate that. I love you guys and you too, Bobby. Thank you. That's very nice. Oops, I forgot your flowers. No, I thought you said flowers before. Whatever. I'll take flowers twice. Flowers twice. Why not? I like it. I'm glad they show up on this thing. Jesse says, it's awesome you figured it out. I, as well, had that happen to me about injustice due to what happened to me, and I just confronted it last night. Isn't that interesting, right? Yeah, no. It's hard because, yours too, I'm not going to explain everybody what yours is. You can do that yourself if you ever wanted to. But yours is interesting because it was like you could also almost blame it on another person. Like mine, there's nobody to blame. That my mom just got sick. And it's like, you can't be like, you got her sick, and it's like that, there's no person did anything. But when another person does something, then suddenly it becomes this thing where it feels like there was an intrusion on your life. The reality, of course, is there is no difference. Nothing is happening to us that we don't vibrationally invite in. And that's hard to hear when some shitty fucking shit is happening to you. Nobody likes to think like, oh, well, clearly I invited that to happen to me. No, you didn't consciously, intentionally invite anyone to hurt you or for this to happen or that person to get sick or for that accident. Like nobody's like saying, gee, what should we do today? Let's invite that crap in. No. Nobody does that, but vibrationally, we are in alignment with it, and it happens. We can get out of alignment with it, and part of how we get out of alignment with it is digging this out and realizing, this is the thing that's bothering me. Wow, look at it. And the funny thing is, it's like it started with the big lie, right? And then it's like, no, it wasn't that, it was this, and then it wasn't this, it was that. And now suddenly it's down to this, and it's like, it's really small and it's really kind of inconsequential. And if I were to say to somebody, like, if I wrote a book, by the way, don't ever be successful because if you do, you will get cancer and die. Everybody who read it would be like, you're an idiot. That's not how the world works. That doesn't happen. Right. So it's just like, how ridiculous is this that I connected this cause and effect in my head or in my heart when this terrible thing happened in my life, but, and then just believed it as fact. But it's this big and it's stupid that, boom, do that to it. Jesse, not to belittle anything that you're dealing with. That wasn't the point of that whole spiel. Kelly, your vulnerability with that sharing was so beautiful and powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your truth and exposing those fears for all of us. I love you, Bobby. I love you too. Thank you very much. Really, I say all the time, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I say all the time, this is a safe space, and I harp on that, and I pound it into the ground, and I make sure everybody knows it, because I plan on showing up some days and saying, "Hey, I need to tell you something," right? and I don't want to hear any crap from anybody. Luckily, I have the delete button in my pocket, so I'll kick you out of the group. And Kelly and Kirsten have the delete button too, so be careful what you say when I'm not paying attention. They delete more than I do. So there's that, because I need the safe space as much as anybody else does. So that's why I know I can say, Daily Fuel today, I'm going to rip my chest open and show you my heart. And I know I'm going to be fine. I know I'm going to be fine. Because, like I said earlier with number 2, is we attract the people who are like us. So I used to worry that it was I'm attracting people who buy things the way I buy things, so they're not going to buy the thing I'm selling because I wouldn't buy the thing I'm selling. But that's not what I do. I attract people who have my worldview, who have my heart, who have my way of seeing the world and want to hold hands and walk down this path together. We're both the light, you know? We don't have to hold hands, but you know what I mean. Kirsten says, wow. This has given me a new perspective to ponder. Thank you for sharing your lies. I'm a liar. Thanks for sharing your lies. That could really be. I'm gonna reread that as if I'm a liar. Wow. This has given me a new perspective to ponder. Thanks for sharing your lies, moron. No, but you're welcome. I appreciate you. I appreciate that. Jesse, it spins up injustice in my current life due to it, though. I'm sure that it does. Yes, vibrationally, it was continuing into other areas of my life now, and yes, it needs to be purged. And you can. You're awesome. You're fucking awesome, too. Robin, not that I will ever become famous or anything, because that's not my point, but I think my lie is if I sell my artworks, I will have blown it because Van Gogh sold only one thing or something like that. Yeah, I just saw that. And if I sell too many things, I will never be a Van Gogh. Right? Isn't that what we believe? I told you I've been watching Doctor Who lately. I mentioned that. I just last night saw the one where the doctor goes and meets Vincent Van Gogh, as they say in Europe. But we here in America we say Van Gogh because why not? It's easier. It's less stuff, and we don't have to go at the end. So that's what we do. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, it's that same thing. If I do this, if I'm successful at this is the fear of success in a nutshell. If I do this, then I won't be able to be that thing. You know, I won't be able to reach these people, or I'll die, right? It's like whatever it is. If I am a success, the price of that is too high for me. And that's, you know what? Hang on a second, Robin. This is, damn, hang on. I want to write this down because I feel like where's my, I have too many things going on here. Hang on a second. This, I want to talk about this fear of success and, fear of, give me a second, please. Just don't go anywhere. Fear of success. If I succeed, the price is too high. Price is too high. There we go. Price is too high. I want to hit on that a little bit more, but not today. I want to see if that's a different take on what I've already said today. Is what I'm trying to do. I skipped one to get to Robin's second one. Fear is fear, and a crime in my soul. A crime in my soul. Ooh, that's poetic. I like that. Here's where we can use our superpower, right? When we have this little nugget, when we're looking at this deep, deep, deep thing, and it's just this, maybe it's been something that has that defined your life for some time, maybe not a long time. I don't even think time really has anything to do with it. It could have just happened. But for me, it happens to have happened decades ago that this happened. And I think but it defines you. It's a turning point. It's a pivot point. And we have the ability, once we dig it out, to shine light on it. And that's a phrase that we use. But how do we shine light on things? Oh, this is great. Well, you guys are really just feeding me daily fuel ideas. How do we shine light? Like, what the hell does that mean? And the way you wrote that there, Jesse, what'd you say? Fear is fear and a crime in my soul. And to me, I was just like, wow, that's so poetic. It's like we have the ability to use art to shine the light. Art can be our light. We can work through it through the creative process that we are just fucking brilliant at. Good stuff happening here. Robin's laughing because this is funny. Donna's here. Hey, how are you? I'm late. Yes, you attract awesome people. I really do. I attract the best people. I really, really do, and I know it. How are you, Donna? Robin, it's a stupid, crazy, weird thing in the back of my mind for some weird reasons. Maybe I need therapy. No, I don't. It's not stupid. Let's talk about this a second, because then what do we do? See, when you say it's a stupid, crazy, weird thing, right? It's crazy, it's weird. Okay, fine, but stupid to me is a little harsh. Maybe I'm just overreacting to the word itself, but this could go back to the comparison thing, because then we say I'm not good enough, and we're comparing ourselves to what we see other people doing. And to me, it's like if I were to say like, "No, I'm so stupid for feeling this way," it's like it's a comparison, even if I don't know that it is, because by saying I am so stupid for feeling this way, I shouldn't feel this way. Why not? Because they don't feel this way about themselves, or at least not in any way that I can see. That's why it's important for this to be a safe space, because there's no way to get through your own stuff if you think that the people around you are perfect. You need to see that nobody's perfect. No one's got it figured out. Nobody knows what the hell they're doing here. We're all going, fuck, right? We all are. And, but nobody puts that air on. Nobody wears that mask all the time, because if you did, you'd be shunned. You'd be outcast. Go away, you wacko. Like Van Gogh was, right? So, Robin, it's not stupid. I think it's normal. I think what is stupid is society's way of making us feel stupid for feeling this way when we all feel this way. If we all could just say, "Oh, I got that thing going on today," and we'll go, yeah, all right, well, just take a nap or something and you'll be better tomorrow. I think we'd all just start to go like, well, you know what? We all feel this way. Clearly, we're all still here. So maybe none of this is really important. Let's just do our thing instead. But we don't let each other do that. That's why the safe space is so important, because we do let each other do that here. Oh, man, you guys are smart. All right, hang on. I need some water before I tackle this one. Kelly says, I think it's funny how we live in sort of a contradiction or a paradox where we can actually choose the best methods for healing whatever stuff. Like we talked about yesterday, we can crowd bad things out just by adding more good ones in. Yep, with the trees in the forest, right? And paying more attention to the flowers you want in your garden and letting the weeds die out. But in this situation, it's like there's a rotting fish in your car, and you can add as many air fresheners as you want to, but the fish smell isn't going away until you find the fish and get it out of there. Odd analogy, but it felt meaningful to me. Yeah, you know what? I know what you're saying. It's like I can do all the work I want on my business. I can learn every tactic for marketing and branding and stuff like that. I can do everything the gurus say to do. I'm a fucking guru myself. I can do everything I say to do, right? And I can do everything right. But nothing will work when you're misaligned in some way, because it's like I've got all brand new parts. I replaced the chairs in the car. I got new seat covers. I got new air fresheners. I got a new car. It's like I've got a new friggin' car, but somebody took the fish out of the old car and put it in the new car, or something like that. And it's still there. It's still this thing. And why? Because the fish is you. You're the fish. The fish is in you. It's in your shoe. You're walking around with a fucking dead rotting fish in your shoe. And no matter what car you get in, it smells. How's that? That's a good one, Kelly. Let's dwell on that one. I may have messed it up on you a little bit there, but I think we're both dancing around the right thing. Wow, Jesse, a crime in my soul. That is amazing. Time to rehabilitate the criminal in me that perpetuates that fear. Mm-hmm. Robin says, now more thoughts are coming to mind about getting too successful, too out there, too amazing, or too anything. Yeah, it's what is that? What is that thing? It's like if I get to this level, have you ever heard me say this before? It's like we have this range that we're good at living in. We know how to live here. It's our comfort zone. And your ego wants to keep you in your comfort zone. You can get to the ceiling, but it won't let you get higher than that ceiling, because if you do, now you're outside the comfort zone and your ego is afraid you're going to die. So your ego will make sure that things get fucked up in your life so that you go down. But it won't let you go down below your floor. Your floor is as low as you will let yourself go. You will not attract things below that floor. You'll scrape the floor and you might get like on the floor and you might get squished down to the level of the floor, but you're not going to go way below it. And your floor and my floor and your ceiling and my ceiling, we could be, our ranges could be, you could have a small range, a big range, it could be a range up here, it could be a range down here. It doesn't matter, but we all have a range. And we all like to stay in it because that, we know how to survive there. And that's all your ego cares about, is surviving. If you get too anything, now you're outside your comfort zone and your ego's like, we're going to die. You know, or our legacy will die. For me, it was literally, I will die. I will get cancer and die. For you, Robin, it was, I'll never be, I can't be like Van Gogh if my art becomes too famous, because his wasn't. So for you, it might not be a personal physical death. It could be a legacy death, right? Still death. It's the death of something that you hold dear. Making the unconscious conscious. That's what we're doing here. That's what shining the light on it is. It's like, this is unconscious. This I have been letting this little thing in my head run the show for so long, or not even for so long. It doesn't really matter. The time I don't think is important, but it's running the show. And now I'm like, what is this thing? What the fuck is this? Get out of here. Right? And it might grow back, but it can never be as strong as it was before, because I will never be unaware of it ever again. I will always know now that this is a thing. Anything, it's scary to me. It's how I often feel. I want to do my art, but my poetry seems to address my dilemma, which I really think actually pervades my attitudes about my art. And many poems refer to being stuck in my cave. Sup with that. It does not mean I'm super unhappy, but more like it refers, I think, to my feeling of wanting to be seen, yet feeling like not being seen too. Oh, wow, isn't that interesting, right? I want to be seen, but don't look at me. It doesn't have to make sense. And I think that the reason that the ego's lies are so... get off my screen. The reason the ego's lies are so powerful is because they have a... what's the word? There's a polarity to them. They contradict each other. I want to be seen, but I don't want to be seen. I want to be seen, but I don't want to be seen. I don't look at me higher than this. You know, this is my range again. We have the ability to change this. We do have the ability to change this. Let's just start there today with a knowledge that we can change this. Whatever it is for you, whatever it is for me, they don't have to be the same thing, but they're the same thing. And we don't have to live with it. And so let's agree that step one is we are aware of it. And if you're not aware of it, you can become aware of it. And once you know that, being aware that it exists erases like most of its power over you. You can't stay locked in a cage when you know where the door is and you're holding the key. You know that I can eventually at some point just turn the key and open the door and walk out of here. I can do that now. Before, I didn't even know where the door was or that there was a key. And before that, I didn't even know I was in a cage. But now we know we're in a cage. We know where the door is. We know where the key is. We've got all of these pieces. And when you have that, you can rest assured that, okay, I can leave here as soon as I'm ready. and I can get ready to get out of here, and I don't have to get out of here right this second because it's not actually killing me, and I can just rest in the knowledge that at some point, pretty soon probably, I'm gonna be like, I'm ready to leave here. And it may even be that you may even all of a sudden realize that I didn't even need the key because there wasn't even a cage to begin with. It just disintegrated around me. Yes, Kelly, paradox. I love that word because that's my conundrum. And perhaps as well relates in a way that your topic for today of lies, because the contradiction is in my mind are probably just in my mind. Right, exactly what I just said. I don't know why I say anything. I should just read your comments and call it a daily fuel. But because I don't treat it as such, it seems bigger than it needs to be. There you go. Kirsten. I'm kind of stunned. The last three lies have put some pieces together. My lie is so ridiculous I don't even know how to approach it. I'm angry because it becomes so debilitating, as silly as it is. They're always silly. Silliness, I think, is a prerequisite to the lie. The lie is silly. Why though do we fall for it? Because we don't speak it out loud. We don't speak it out loud, right? If I went to a thing, and once you speak it out loud, you hear it. You're just like, that's stupid. That's silly, right? And that's ridiculous. I'm not believing that anymore. Nobody would believe that anymore. I'm not standing here saying Daily Fuel is about, guys, stop selling your art. Stop trying to be successful, because if you're successful, you're going to get cancer and die. It's going to happen. Like, you'd be like, okay, time to find another group. That's not what's going on here at all. I'm saying this was the lie in my head. And once I went and looked at it, I was just like, this is silly. It's not even a big thing. It's just this little thing that I got on an impressionable day. I can remember the day. I can remember the feeling of the day when I started to believe this, when it just started to go, oh, here's a thing. Oh, we got a thing now. And my ego went, oh, I can use this to keep him breathing, you know? So, like what I said to Robin, Kirsten, it's like, don't now turn around and beat yourself up for believing this thing. It's like, oh, I'm so angry at myself. No. That's your ego. Your ego's going to try and strip you up. See, you believe that stupid lie. You're not worthy of getting past this thing. Just be like, all right, I believe this lie. My ego is trying to keep me alive. No big deal. I don't have to believe this lie. Now that I am aware of it, I can choose to believe it or not. I'm an adult. Most of us. And just stop believing it. There's no reason to berate yourself. Don't put yourself down. Don't do any of that stuff. Just be like, oh, okay. Wow, I had a rock in my shoe. What would you do if you had a rock in your shoe? You're walking around with a rock in your shoe. You would take the rock out of your shoe. You wouldn't then, like, go to therapy about, like, what an idiot you are that you walked on a rock and one of them got in your shoe. You just get rid of the rock, and that would be that. You wouldn't even think about it again. Ever. We have rocks in our shoes. Let's get them out. That's it. That's all we got to do. Get the rocks out of your shoes. Don't worry about the fact that they're there, or how they got there, or how dumb you are for letting them get there, or for believing them, or for I just walked the last mile with a rock in my shoe. I could have taken it out over. Whatever. Who cares? Take it out now. That's it. Hang on. We need to change our words. Okay? Instead of pointing out the negative, we need to word it as a positive. Good, I like this. Last night I acknowledged my subconscious pull of injustice, so I sat and meditated on the fact that justice does exist. I like this. And thanking the universe for loving and supporting me and finding and feeling that justice is real. It certainly is. To convince my subconscious justice is real and true. When you find these things, we need to speak the way it needs to be to reprogram it the other way. Ah, man, that's just killer right there. I'm going to hang on a second. I'm gonna see. I don't put my keyboard up here anymore, and now I need it. I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to screenshot this because this is a daily fuel right here. So I'm going to do a daily fuel on this and not tag you because I'm going to take credit for this. And that's great. That's just really great. So how does that work? We need to so once we know, it's like I believe this thing. So instead of saying what an idiot I am for believing this thing, I can just say, well, if I believed that, then I can believe the opposite of this thing, which is I'm not going to get cancer if I get successful. Success doesn't have to lead to death. Success could lead to fulfillment. Success could lead to thriving. Success could lead to life. What a concept, you know. So I'm gonna let that play around in my head. I'm not gonna riff on it too much today because that's really, really good. And maybe that'll be a not maybe that will be that'll be a future daily fuel. Oh, I got like so many now. I got 3. They'll probably all be the same one. Let it go, can't hold me back anymore. Is that a song? Sounds like it should be a song. These lies are so powerful because they blank. Make such little sense, in my honest opinion, and they are subconscious. I have the feelings, but I don't have the knowledge of how to get it out. Well, all right. Let's just talk about that for a second. Maybe we don't, I say it's like we need to just rip it out and look at it. Maybe you don't need to do that because then you might be taking that a little more literally than I mean it. The way that when I say take it out and look at it, now I'm looking at this little thing. All I meant was I said it out loud. Saying it out loud is all you need to do to take it out and shine a light on it. Is just say it out loud. The reason these lies work is because we don't say them out loud. We think them and we don't even think the words most of the time. We feel the feeling that believing them makes us feel. If this happens to me, I'm going to get cancer like my mom. That makes me feel like shit if I believed it. I don't believe the words, but I'm not listening to the words. All I'm getting is the feeling. I don't know where this feeling is coming from. All I know is that as soon as things start getting too successful for me, this feeling goes in and I'm like, something is wrong here. And I shut the whole fucking thing down. Well, I don't know why. Because I don't want to die, I guess, but I didn't know that. But if I were to say out loud, oh my God, this whole thing is getting too good. If this happens, I'm going to get cancer and die. I'd be like, that's stupid. That's retarded. I don't believe that. Retarded. Did not mean to say that word. Sorry. That's silly. Right? It's like, I don't believe that. Say it out loud. Say it out loud. I said this once before. Your ego doesn't say things out loud because your ego talks in riddles and contradictory terms and stuff like that. And your ego will never say your name. Your ego will never ever say your name to you. So start talking out loud to yourself and say your own name and see what comes out of your mouth. It won't be this crap. It'll be the truth. It'll be what Jesse's talking about. It'll be there's justice in the world. It'll be that you're amazing. It'll be that you're worth it. It'll be that kind of stuff. It won't be, oh, Bobby, if you make this group a success, you're going to die. No, my soul will never say that to me, and yours will never say anything like that to you either. So, Robin, that's how. Don't stress about how do I get it out now. It's out. Once you've said it, you wrote it on things. Take a screenshot of your own screen and keep that. Of these feelings? How do I get out of these? Okay. Okay, time to find another group. I know now that my mom loved me. She just did the best she could. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that, most parents just do the best that they could. And that's comforting to me to know that they did the best they could. And because now I'm at the point where my children are growing up. My kids, when they were really, really little, I could have this high horse mentality of like, look how great I am because they're this and they're that. And it's like, but now they're teenagers and they're going out into the world and they're dealing with bigger problems. And I'm seeing that, yeah, we're good parents, but despite my best efforts, they're still going to have their own head trash. And I said this to Laura, my wife, today, that I had this wish that I could have raised them in a way that they'd have none of the problems that I have, And she's like, well, that's not possible because you and I weren't the only influences in their lives. They had friends, they had teachers, they had neighbors, they had the relatives, they had everything. And we may have been the biggest influence and certainly pointed them in the right direction, but they're still going to pick up some things. And I'm like, yeah, fuck them, you're right. So, so that was that. But yeah, Nathan, your mom loved you. Marcia, I believe, at least in my case, that ego has a way of protecting you with the lies you're believing because it wasn't your time to move forward yet. Oh, I like this too. This is a good one. Sometimes a good deal of time is needed to heal and bring balance and boundaries back into your life so you can then let ego's lies go and move forward with confidence and without fear and know you are enough. It's then your feet can hit the floor running, knowing you can accomplish anything. Really, really good point there, Marcia. But you're wrong. So I'm going to move on to the next. No, I'm kidding. No, that's a really good point. And to that point, I just heard, I was listening to an Abraham Hicks video yesterday. I have this thing where I feel sometimes it's like, how come I'll start to attract something and it feels like the universe is dangling it in front of my face like, Bobby, here's that thing you want. And it's like I'm getting closer to it. And as soon as I'm reaching for it, the universe is like, nah. Right? And I'm like, whoa, what's that about? What are you doing to me here? Why are you showing me stuff and then, no, not today, And their answer, Abraham's answer, was this, that your inner being, it really had less to do with your ego's lies and more to do with the workings of your inner being guiding you to what you want. That your inner being is always calling you to everything that you want. The problem is, they said, that your inner being knows everything that you want. And sometimes we get fixated on this one thing. I really want that. And now we're fixated on that. And then all of a sudden, there it is. It's like, oh, it's right in front of my face. I want it. Give it to me. And because your not your ego, your inner being is trying to show you that here it is. This is what you want. But you don't want this one. You want this one over here. So come over here, and now that you're over here, I'm going to start calling you over to this one over here because it has even more of what you want. And I went, that sucks. I don't want to hear that. I want the thing I want. So to tie that into what you said, it's that sometimes the ego, it wasn't your time to move forward yet. So yeah, there is, your ego, like I said, is trying to protect you. So sometimes the lie is actually protecting you. I don't dismiss that. I used to think years ago when I started to get into law of attraction stuff, I used to think that the ego is just this parasite that we needed to rid ourselves of. I don't think that anymore. I think that the ego is a partner in your life. It's something that you need because it does keep you on your toes and it does keep you being aware of yourself. It's just that your ego doesn't have all the answers, and your ego, my friend Landon calls it the 14-year-old part of you. It's like it's a kid. If you think of your ego as a kid, the kid believes weird things, and the kid's afraid of things that we're not afraid of as grown-ups. So our job is to be the parent, and the ego's job is to be the kid that's afraid of shit. And when we believe what the kid is afraid of, that messes up your life. But when you can see that what the child is afraid of is something a child is afraid of, you can be like, well, I understand why you feel that way. Robin, this is another way to take it out and shine a light on it. I understand why you feel that way. It's a valid point based on your experience with that thing that happened to you. But you're an idiot. No, don't say that. But it's not true. It's just not true. And I can prove it to you. And now you can start using logic. You can start using adult logic. And all the reasons why you know that this thing that you suddenly realize you believed your whole life isn't true, you could say that out loud. And you could say, I understand why you think that, and I understand that you're afraid of it, but it isn't true, and here's why. Because lots of people are successful and don't get cancer. And lots of people get cancer that aren't successful. They have nothing to do with each other, and you know that. And I do know that, and so I don't have to be afraid of that anymore. Thanks, Marcia. Thank you for that. Robin, Marcia, I think you may have hit the nail on the head exactly. Most probably it's not my time yet. That could totally be it. It could be it's just not your time yet, and I like this. It's not your time yet, and your ego's lie is trying to keep you from overextending to a degree, even if the reason it's using isn't true. But you could say, you know what? You still kept me from going down this path that, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know that's the path. If I don't have to believe that lie anymore, okay. Let me say it this way. I used to wonder why my web design business couldn't be more successful, right? And I wouldn't let it get to a certain success because if it did, I'd get cancer. Okay, fine. However, I also knew I really didn't want that business. That wasn't the business I wanted. I thought it was an easier business to sell shit and make money from. That's why I did it. It was like, yeah, I can use my art. That's cool and it's fun and I'm good at this and I'm good at that and yay. But if it ever came down to it, if I were ever honest with myself, which I am now, I didn't want to be successful at that business because then I'd have to do it all the time. And I didn't want to keep doing it all the time. I don't mind doing it occasionally, but for crying out loud, I don't want this to be my life. I want this to be my life, So maybe in that sense then, what Marcia's saying is that my ego knew that you don't want to go down that path because you don't want to get cancer, but also because you don't want to go down that path, So there, maybe your ego and your inner being are working in cahoots for you. I don't know. I'm not backstage with them. I don't know what the hell they're doing when I'm sleeping and stuff. It's just, shit happens, But we can think about this and we can meditate on it and we can just ask for guidance. But when you speak out loud and you say your own name, that's your soul talking. What's your soul saying? Here's why is important. Here's why. Oh, what I said? And here's why. Is that what I said? Yes, I said that. Okay. I don't listen to myself, so you got to give me a little more context. I think that by not acting until it's time, it prevents a lot of potential mistakes. Until when I'm ready, I won't encounter and make those mistakes I would make by not being ready. What? I think that by not acting until it's time, it prevents a lot of potential mistakes. Until when I'm ready, I won't encounter and make those mistakes I would make by not being... Okay, all right. I got it, yeah. You're not ready to do it, so you're not doing it yet. And if you had done it when you weren't ready, you'd make a lot of mistakes. So by waiting until you're ready, you don't make the mistakes that you would have made had you done it when you weren't ready. I think you're not wanting the success to be successful was because it wasn't something that was feeding your soul. Yeah. That was part of it too, I didn't want to do that stuff. And then this is interesting because you're making me realize something, because then I would get down to what I really wanted to do, and then I wouldn't believe that it was what I wanted to do. What if this isn't what I want either? What if I'm deluding myself again? It's like I thought having a big agency web design company would be amazing. Wow, how amazing would that be? I thought it. I wasn't consciously saying, I guess I'll do that. I thought it, and I tried for it. I reached for it, and then I was like, no, I don't really want that. I want this. But then now I'm second guessing myself. It's like, well, do I really want this? What if I'm deluding myself again? What if I'm just saying I want this because it's a better thing than that, but it's still not the thing? How do you know? I think you don't have to know. I think that you can work towards... It wouldn't have been horrible if that business were a success, because the next lie I'm telling myself is that had it been a success, I'd be stuck in it for the rest of forever. That's not true. I could have sold it. You can do a lot of things with a bit. Oh no, I had a successful business. Now what do I do? You retire, you sell it, you do something else on the side, you get a partner and let them do all the work. I can think of a million ways to get out of having to do that. But I couldn't back then. It felt like a prison sentence. Oh no, if it's successful, I'm going to be stuck doing this forever. You know? Again, not true. And now that I'm saying it out loud, it sounds silly. So what? Maybe I'm trying to build this business now, and I'm worried that, well, what if I'm wrong again? What if this isn't really the thing that I want, the complete perfect thing? You know? So what? So I'm successful at it. Whoop-de-doo. Sell it. Change it. I own a boat. Doesn't mean I can't. I can only go in this little patch of water. No, I can take it on any. I don't know whether I'm going with that. It's a thing. It's just I can change it into anything that I want. I can reinvent myself at any time. Wow, that's another one right there. If this were successful, I'd be stuck doing it forever. And have cancer. So a double whammy, right? I'd be stuck in the cancer ward. They'd be like, it's time for your chemo. I can't. I got to make this website. Oh my God. What the hell do I think? This is what I'm talking about here. It doesn't make any sense. You say it out loud and you're just like, wow, this doesn't make any sense. We love you too. You know what? You get the booby prize today. How's that? And I'm gonna be done because I'm hungry. I will see you guys tomorrow when we talk about something. I don't know what yet, but we'll figure it out. Jesse, you get the booby prize. Oh wait, time out. Look who shows up and steals the booby prize with an essay at the very end. Well, probably Robin will have something to say now, and I'm surprised Donna hasn't yelled out boobs or anything yet. Hi, Christina. How you doing? I need a sip of water before I tackle this one. Hang on. Y'all thought you were leaving. No, now Nathan, forget it. We're not going anywhere. Hey, Bobby. Hey, how are you? I'm glad I finally made it to a live. I can say I'm currently at a crossroads with not being sure what I'm wanting to do at the moment. So I'm taking time to experiment. Did you watch yesterday's Daily Fuel? That's what I talked about. Was that yesterday? These days just blend in. Taking day trips, experimenting and stuff. So what you're doing is great. If you have a chance, watch yesterday's Daily Fuel. It was about that. Taking time to experiment and go through trial and error since I have the time and space to do so now. That's great. Still sticking to the crafting, just not sure which one to do at the moment. I have a lot of different interests, so I definitely feel like I needed to drop in on this live to help me figure things out better. Good. Yesterday's live was the one for that. But still, this is the thing. It's like we have these lies that are telling us it's like you got to do this or you got to do that or you can't do both, or maybe your lie is that you can't take the time for trial and error. I don't know, but I'm glad you're here, and yeah, for sure that's what this is all about. It's about taking the time to reflect on ourselves, to experiment on ourselves, to figure out like who am I and what do I want. It would have been really hard for me to launch a business and then take it down, and then change it and make changes to it. And like if you've been in this group for any amount of time, I started this group. I don't know why I'm starting this group. I never want to have a business about any of this shit. I think I'm going to start a business about this, and I've just been changing my mind as time goes on. My finger banged into this table here. You're allowed to take the time to figure yourself out. In fact, I think it's required. So good for you, Christina, and it's very nice to see you. At first, I wanted to be a psychologist. Now I want to be a motivational speaker, but that might still change. Is there really a difference? Is there really a difference? You know, it's like you want to help people. If you don't know, do I want to be this? Do I want to be this? Do I want to be this? What is the overarching thing that ties them all together? For me, it was art. You know, for me, it was art and spirituality. It's like I just need to figure out how to combine those things. And I did that and figured that out by starting this group and just showing up, being like, I'm doing these lives. Anybody want to hang out? Whatever. I'm doing them anyway. You know? So that's how it kind of works for me. And you're allowed to just try a thing and try a thing and try a thing, just like we were talking about with Christina there. We are allowed to do that. I'm getting tired. So I'm going to say goodnight. So, Jesse, you had the booby prize, but these people stole it, so sorry. I'll send you one anyway. Nathan, you get the booby prize today. All right, guys, have a wonderful night, day, whatever it is by you. I say that because Donna and some other people are in Australia and it's morning. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.